This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the EVERGOODS Civic Travel Bag 26 liter, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. If you find this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So the primary material that we're working with here is 420D nylon. It's very durable. I think it looks pretty sleek as well. I mean, there's nothing really to say about it other than that you don't really notice it. And I think that, at least for me, is what I expect from a black backpack, because you kind of just want to blend in a little bit. And this pack does a good job at that, mainly because of this fabric and also some of the design choices. We've got YKK zippers all around here. You know, they work as you'd expect them to. If you're unfamiliar, YKK is one of the best in the business when it comes to, zipper reliability. I've never personally had any issues with a YKK zipper, or especially on a EVERGOODS bag. So it's a match made in heaven, so to speak. On the backside here, some of this hard plastic hardware, let me grab some of it, is from Duraflex. Just very easy to use, no issues with it breaking or anything like that. Duraflex, again, like YKK, is one of the best in the business. And when paired with a brand like EVERGOODS, you kind of know what to expect. So if you're unfamiliar with EVERGOODS, you might be curious what's going on here with this logo. So it is a hook and loop fastener, so you can attach a patch on there or something like that. But if you don't want to, you can just leave it like this. Some people don't like how it looks, and I understand that, but I don't mind it. It doesn't really bother me. And it's also nice if you're traveling and you buy a patch somewhere, you can just stick it on for the rest of your trip, or just leave it like this, as I said. So it just depends, whether or not you like that. We've got water bottle pockets on either side here, stretchy mesh, and I've got this bag packed out pretty tight right now. So just depends how big your water bottle is and how much you have packed in here. So this is gonna be a little bit harder to get this big Nalgene in there. So I was able to get it inside there, but I have had a few times where it was really tough for me to fit this inside of here when the bag is fully packed. So I'm not too bad right now, able to get it in. And also helpful if you put this in and then pack the bag, but then if you get thirsty, you got to pull it out, obviously. So if you are someone who packs your bag really tightly, you might want a skinnier bottle, or just get used to really wedging it in there. Almost threw my bottle. I did throw my bottle. We have handles here on the top and the side, which really stay out of the way when you're not using them, which I really like. Just nice to not have to deal with them, kind of like the material or anything like that. It's also very handy for getting this bag into the compartment above you on the airplane. So these shoulder straps here are kind of shaped like an S, which conforms pretty well to my body. I understand that probably won't be the case for everybody, but we have had quite a few people put this on here at the office, and everyone has found it to be fairly comfortable. Some users note that up here at the top it is a little bit wide, but it's not really digging in here. It kind of digs on your shoulder a tiny bit, but not really in a bad way. You can just kind of feel it, if that makes sense. So overall, very comfortable throughout, different people who have tried it on. We do have a sternum strap here. You can adjust it, these different slots, put it wherever you want to, or remove it completely if you don't want to wear it. I think that's a nice feature. No hip belt here at the bottom, and there's quite a bit of padding, but no real breathability on these shoulder straps. We have a little bit more on the back panel. This is, let me make sure I get it right, 50D monofilament. I'm not sure where exactly on the harness system that comes into play, but there is, some mesh underneath this material here, and you can almost kind of see through it. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it on the screen, but you can kind of see that mesh there a little bit. So amply padded here. We do have a luggage pass-through that goes behind here, so this is where most of the padding is. You can really feel it. So nice to be able to put this on some rolling luggage. Just overall a very comfortable carry, at least in my opinion. And even people with smaller frames, they found that it was comfortable as well, not too long or anything like that. So overall, very happy with this, but it does get a little bit warm on hot days, but maybe not as warm as you think for an all black backpack. So I've got everything all set up now on my back here. As you can see, it fits pretty nicely on my frame size, and as I mentioned earlier, even people with smaller frame sizes and torso lengths found it pretty comfortable too. It stops at a nice place on my back. There is a HDPE hard plastic frame sheet that you can remove if you want to. You access it inside the laptop compartment, which we're actually about to get into. So if you don't want that, you can remove it, but I do think it adds a little bit of structure that I like, and also kind of like disperses the weight. So if you have a really heavy pack, it kind of, you know, spreads that weight out a little bit. But overall, very comfortable. You can kind of see how the S shape is morphing to my body a little bit. But overall, really nothing to complain about for me in terms of comfort. Again, gets a little bit warm sometimes, but pretty much every backpack I've ever tested does that. So I'm gonna start with the laptop compartment, which actually is accessible from this side zipper here. So we have a nice zipper garage up here at the top, and I'll be the first to admit that I don't really like side access laptop compartments. It's just an anxiety thing for me that I'm always worried that I'm gonna leave this open and my laptop is going to tumble out. It's never happened to me. I've seen it happen to people online, but never to me personally. But this one actually doesn't bother me at all. I actually quite like it. And most of it is because of this hook and loop fastener here. So I've seen different ones with, like, you know, that'll have a security system or, you know, to keep your laptop in place. This hook and loop fastener is very durable, but it's also red. So if I leave this open, it's like, you know, a bolt seeing red. You know, I see that this is, you know, if it's not on, typically it's kind of out like that. So it's, you know, I can see it. Even if it's like that and it's open, I can still kind of see it. So I know that my laptop's secure, and I know that if I see that, I need to close it up. So that's a nice feature, I think, just something small that for me personally goes a long way. Got quite a bit of other space here if you want to stow something else flat here. If you try to put anything rigid here, you're gonna feel it on the back panel. We've also got a zipper here. Not sure how well you can see that, but there's a zipper there. If you pull it out, there is the HDPE plastic frame sheet that if you wanted to remove it, you could. Also not a bad place to hide something if you're trying to, you know, hide something in the bag. But nice to have a separate laptop compartment, and the side access doesn't bother me so much here. So again, we're going to talk about side access again on this pocket here. So this pocket is designed to have it on your backpack, bring it over here, and then you access it kind of like down like this. So all of the pockets inside of here are, you know, designed for that. So we've got two liner pockets here. This one is quite a bit larger than this smaller one here. We have a zippered compartment here as well. These are kind of hard to show you because this pack is so full right now. This is a mesh, not a stretchy mesh, like a more of a dense mesh that's not going to stretch, but it's nice to have a place to lock things down inside this compartment if, you know, you want to do that. Then we also have a key ring inside of here as well. Just a simple key ring, again, red, so if this is open and if you got your keys out or something, you're gonna be able to see that. Easy to find inside of here as well. I've got my tech pouch stowed in here right now just because when commuting to work, you never know when you're gonna need a charger or your, you know, battery bank or something like that. Nice to have quick access to it. But because, you know, I'm using lots of different organizers inside the main compartment, I didn't have a ton of use for these pockets, but I see how when you're traveling that they could be very useful in the key ring as well if you're staying somewhere for longer. Up here we have a top quick access. So this is, you know, probably the easiest pocket to access. If you don't have the bag on, you just pop this open and get to your gear. I've got my headphones inside of here right now. Easy to fit inside. It's a pretty big pocket. As you can see, you know, my hand comes down to about here. So it's a pretty good sized pocket. It does, all these pockets kind of share space. So if you have the bag fully packed out, like these front two pockets kind of share space up here, and then the main compartment kind of pushes up into these pockets as well. So depending on how much gear you have stored in the main compartment, it'll affect how much you can fit in these secondary compartments. But for me personally, in everyday use, I didn't find the secondary pockets super useful for me personally. I just don't have that many things, I don't think. But while I'm traveling, all the different bits and bobs, especially if you're traveling internationally and you need converters and stuff like that, just nice to have all these pockets and just extra space to put things so you don't have to put it all inside the main compartment. So speaking of the main compartment, it's time to get inside there. So we do have a clamshell opening here, it goes all the way around, so you have quite a bit of room to work with getting into the organization of your gear. So I've got quite a bit inside here right now, so I'm just gonna take it out so we can go over the organization that's underneath all of this. So I've got my packing cubes, actually save some space. Got my toiletry case, which I'm not gonna throw because my toiletries are in there. Don't want anything to explode. And then a camera cube that I've had for just years and years and years. So behind that, you can see we do have this like slider pocket here. It's made of like a stretchy material, but it's very durable. I really like this material because it does have that little bit of stretch, so you can fit larger items inside there. But it's not gonna like get punctured or anything like that if you put something a little bit sharper in there. So I do like this, but if you don't wanna use it, it doesn't get in your way, which I like a lot. I like organization that if you're not gonna use it, it doesn't take up space, it doesn't get in your way. So I really like this. I also like that we have like almost like a daisy chain up here. We got 3 little loops that you can attach different gear. I know there's some EVERGOODS gear that, you know, has a little bit modular and you could attach things inside of here, even just like a carabiner or a strap. You know, you could attach Tom Ben gear in here. You could really attach whatever you wanted to. But again, it doesn't get in your way if you don't want to use it. So I really like that. This is basically just a big dump pocket. Get quite a bit of depth there on the sides to stack gear inside of here. I mean, I had an extra large packing cube, 2 medium packing cubes, a camera cube, and my toiletry pouch all inside of here. So quite a bit of space. And as you can see, there isn't a ton of organization, so you might need to use those organizers, but you can get by without them, especially for a weekend trip with this pack, at least I think personally. Up here on the lid, we do have a big mesh pocket here. No organization inside of there, just a big pocket. So because I was using packing cubes, I didn't really have a use for this. I think it's a good place to stow like socks and underwear and stuff. When I took a trip to my mom's house this past weekend, that's what I did with this. I put socks and underwear, and then I had my other clothes inside of here. So for a weekend trip, you don't necessarily need a packing cube, or you don't need multiple packing cubes, but you could put your socks and underwear and maybe other clothes in here, and then maybe a couple things inside this compartment, or just one packing cube inside of here. So this does help. And also, you don't have to use it for clothes. You can really use it for whatever you want. We have another pocket up here. So I don't typically need to have my phone and wallet on me at all times. I'm just kind of, when I'm traveling and even just in life, I'm just kind of wandering around most of the time. So I don't necessarily need to have my phone or wallet. So I had them inside of here instead of in this front compartment. And we have two pockets in this pocket. So we have a larger one here on this side and then a smaller one over here. I like that there's two different sizes, and again, similar to this front pocket, because you have different size gear, but it's not so small, the smallest pocket, to where you can't fit stuff inside of it. So I think it's a good, happy medium to have, this larger pocket and then a smaller pocket that's still pretty good size. Like, I think my phone would probably still fit in there. Yep, still does. A little bit tight, but it still does fit inside of there. So you can fit quite a bit inside this organization, but again, it doesn't really get in your way if you don't want to use it. It does, if you're not using this, it does kind of feel like wasted space. Like when I was using this pack the past couple days and I didn't have stuff inside this pocket, I did feel like I was wasting space. But because this does share space with these pockets up here, when I had stuff inside of here, it was using that space, and then there wasn't as much room here anyway. So it is give and take depending on how you like to organize your gear, but overall very happy with just how much I can fit inside of here. I really like organization that doesn't get in your way. I find that it's more versatile that way, and this is a very versatile pack because of that organization, and also just because of the durable materials. It does well in, if it's raining or even probably the snow. I'd imagine it does well. No snow here yet in Michigan, so we can't test that, but if it does well in rain, typically you do well in snow. So overall, very happy with this pack. If you're not into that logo, I suggest you buy a fun patch, stick it on there. Right when you order this pack, order a fun patch, stick it on there so you can put it on there when it arrives. But again, overall, I can't say enough good things about this pack. So there you have it, the EVERGOODS Civic Travel Bag 26 liters. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.